Welcome to Little English Studio, the channel where we explore the wonders of history, culture, and nature, all told in clear and simple English. Today, we take you on a journey to the American Southwest, to a place where towering cliffs hide ancient secrets. A place where stone villages cling to canyon walls, silent witnesses to a people who lived, thrived, and mysteriously moved on. This is Mesa Verde National Park, one of the world's most extraordinary archaeological treasures, and a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Imagine standing on a high plateau in the state of Colorado, United States. The air is dry, the sun is bright, and the land stretches endlessly in shades of red, green, and gold. This is Mesa Verde, which means green table in Spanish. The name was given by explorers who saw the flat-topped mesas covered with forests of juniper and pinyon pine. But Mesa Verde is not only a place of natural beauty. Hidden in its deep canyons and sandstone cliffs are more than 600 cliff dwellings, stone villages built by the Ancestral Puebloans over 700 years ago. These ancient homes, some with dozens of rooms, are carved into alcoves high on the canyon walls. Mesa Verde National Park, established in 1906, protects nearly 5,000 archaeological sites, including cliff dwellings, pit houses, towers, and farming terraces. It is one of the first parks in the world created to preserve human history, not just natural scenery. Long before the arrival of Europeans, the Ancestral Puebloans, sometimes called the Anasazi, made Mesa Verde their home. Around the year 550 CE, they built their first houses here, simple pit houses dug into the ground with roofs made of wood and earth. These early homes were clustered into small villages on the mesa tops. Over centuries, the Puebloans developed advanced skills in farming, pottery, and architecture. They grew corn, beans, and squash, known as the Three Sisters of Native American agriculture. They wove cotton and yucca into clothing, made beautiful black-on-white pottery, and carved intricate petroglyphs into stone. Community life revolved around kivas, round ceremonial rooms dug into the ground. Kivas were used for rituals, storytelling, and community meetings. Many cliff dwellings at Mesa Verde contain several kivas, showing their importance to daily life. The Puebloans were not an isolated people. They traded with distant cultures, exchanging turquoise, pottery, shells, and food. This network connected them to other civilizations in the Southwest, and even as far as Mexico. Around 1200 CE, the Ancestral Puebloans began a dramatic change. Instead of building homes on the mesa tops, they started constructing stone villages in the cliff alcoves. Why did they move into the cliffs? Scholars debate. Some believe it offered better protection from enemies. Others suggest it provided shade in summer and warmth in winter. Perhaps it was also spiritual, a way of living closer to the sacred landscape. Whatever the reason, the result was astonishing. The cliff dwellings of Mesa Verde are among the most spectacular structures of ancient North America. Cliff Palace, the largest dwelling, with about 150 rooms and 23 kivas. It may have housed around 100 people. Its multi-story towers and plazas look like a miniature stone city. Balcony House, famous for its narrow tunnels and steep ladders, showing how defensible these homes could be. Spruce Tree House, one of the best preserved with over 100 rooms and 8 kivas. Visitors can still sense the daily life of its ancient residents. These homes were built from sandstone blocks, wooden beams, and mortar made of mud. The craftsmanship was remarkable. Walls were carefully shaped, rooms were planned with precision, and storage areas were designed to protect food supplies. Living in a cliff dwelling was both challenging and rewarding. Families shared small rooms for sleeping and storage, while daily life happened outside in the plazas. Men farmed the mesa tops, climbing up and down the cliffs each day to reach their fields of corn, beans, and squash. Women ground corn into flour using stone metates, cooked meals in clay pots, and wove cloth. Children played, learned skills, and listened to stories from their elders. Religion was central to Puebloan life. The people believed in a spiritual world that connected humans, animals, and nature. Ceremonies in the kivas honored the gods, asked for rain, and celebrated the cycles of planting and harvest. Art was everywhere. Pottery decorated with geometric designs, petroglyphs carved into canyon walls, and woven patterns that carried meaning and tradition. Despite the difficult environment, the Ancestral Puebloans created a thriving community, rich in culture and innovation. Yet by the late 1200s, something changed. Within a few decades, the cliff dwellings of Mesa Verde were abandoned. The people left their stone villages behind and moved south, toward what is now New Mexico and Arizona. Why did they leave? Historians and archaeologists have proposed many theories. Climate change. A long drought made farming nearly impossible. Resource stress. Growing populations strained food, water, and wood supplies. Conflict. Evidence suggests possible warfare or raiding between groups. Cultural shifts. Religious or social changes may have inspired migration. Whatever the reason, the people did not vanish. Their descendants are today's Pueblo tribes, including the Hopi, Zuni, and many communities along the Rio Grande. They continue to honor Mesa Verde as part of their heritage and identity. For centuries, the cliff dwellings sat silent, known mainly to local Native Americans and a few explorers. In the late 1800s, European American settlers rediscovered them. Sadly, many sites were looted, and artifacts were taken away. In 1906, President Theodore Roosevelt signed legislation creating Mesa Verde National Park, the first park in the United States dedicated to preserving archaeological heritage. This was a landmark decision, recognizing that cultural history deserved protection just as much as natural wonders. Since then, archaeologists have carefully studied the sites, uncovering details of daily life and ancient traditions. Preservation efforts have repaired walls, stabilized structures, and protected the dwellings from weather and tourism damage. Today, Mesa Verde National Park covers over 52,000 acres and preserves more than 5,000 archaeological sites. In 1978, it was named a UNESCO World Heritage Site, joining the ranks of the world's greatest cultural landmarks. Visitors can hike trails, climb ladders into cliff dwellings, and gaze into the past. Rangers guide tour, explaining the history and significance of each site. Museums display artifacts, from pottery and tools to jewelry and sacred objects. Mesa Verde is not just a tourist attraction. It is a place of respect, a living heritage. The National Park Service works closely with Pueblo tribes to honor traditions, protect sacred sites, and share stories in a respectful way. Mesa Verde faces challenges. Climate change threatens the fragile structures, with more intense storms and rising temperatures. Tourism must be balanced with preservation, so future generations can still experience this wonder. But Mesa Verde endures. It is a place where visitors can reflect on human resilience, creativity, and community. It reminds us that civilizations rise, adapt, and sometimes move on, but their stories remain carved in stone. For the Pueblo people, Mesa Verde is not just history. It is a living part of their identity, connecting them to ancestors and traditions that continue today. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the cliffs of Mesa Verde. If you enjoyed this exploration, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. At Little English Studio, we bring you the stories of the world's greatest places in clear and simple English. Stay curious, keep learning, and join us again for our next adventure into history and heritage.